Hi there, everyone. It is currently the 26th of November 2013. Before I touch in on what's going on out here in the Western Pacific, and really the main topic is the cold surge coming down here in the tropics, absolutely nothing going on. I know yesterday there was still that conversation going on about this possibly becoming something, and we said nothing was going to happen, and you can see right now completely falling apart. But I do want to talk about the actual tropical system out here a little bit farther towards the west. And if you are out here across the Nikolai or Andaman Islands, you really have been seeing some heavy rainfall and some pretty squally winds here in the past 48 hours due to, well, our Cyclone Lehar. Now that's moving off there towards the northwest, about 15 kilometers per hour at this time. Winds are gusting up and over typhoon strength, continuing to intensify. It's expected to max out basically around a Cat 2 to Cat 3 equivalent of a hurricane if this was in the Atlantic, with winds up to 95 gusting to about 115 knots as it does push off there towards the northwest. Now, the big thing with this one, it is moving to a very similar location that Helen just moved to, actually, very similar as well as Palau about 2 months ago, but much weaker. And the good news, the northeast monsoon continuing to rage out here right now. So what we're going to be seeing is this storm system track off there towards the west, intensify, reach its peak intensity. But I do think just prior to landfall, a rapid weakening is going to take place. You have plenty of dry air over India, that wind shear coming in, and once it nears the coast, it's going to weaken, and once it moves on shore, it will completely fall apart. So if you're farther inland and you think you're going to get a rain out of this, that seems very unlikely. And we'll just take a look at the GFS model output, at least just one of these, as guidance to show you where this is going to be going as it tracks off here towards the west. And then if we scroll ahead, let's take a look ahead into Wednesday, and pretty defined center of circulation. But by Wednesday night into Thursday, so just prior to landfall, this starts to really rapidly weaken. And this is the one thing I want to show you, the relative humidity coming in off of India. And you see all that area in pink wrapping around this, that is that drier inflow. So the good news is that it will rapidly weaken after landfall. Bad news, it is still going to be packing somewhat of a punch out here. So low-lying areas definitely need to evacuate. There is a risk of about a 2-meter high storm surge that could come in with this. Also up to about 200 to 250 millimeters of rainfall right near the immediate coastline. If we pull up the MSL for about the same time period going into Thursday early morning, you can see some pretty heavy rainfall, but it is going to be reserved right towards the immediate coast, much like Helen was. Chennai, if you're farther down here towards the south, I would not get too worried about this. I know one does pull a little bit farther there towards the south, but most of the tracks keep it off towards the north. And with that drier inflow I was just showing you, it really is going to make for some dry weather farther towards the south. And you can see here many of the models also have this intensifying, but that rapid drop off going through the next 48 hours. So will make its peak intensity before landfall, but still going to be packing a punch here right near the coast, and you do want to make proper preparations out ahead of it. And the Indian Meteorological Department has been doing a very good job as of late with disaster management. So if you are being issued a warning or evacuation, I would definitely heed that. They have learned from lessons from the past here, and really their forecasts have even breaking this down quite considerably. And I think this is something Pegasus should learn from. You have the Nicobar Islands here, and this is a specific warning for that. But let's move over a little bit towards the west, towards India, the mainland areas here. Heavy rainfall is going to commence by the 27th during the afternoon hours. Squally winds gusting up to 200 kilometers per hour right near the immediate coast as possible. And the state of the sea is going to be rather rough. Storm surge guidance, it will be issued in a little bit later on, but they also tell you the extensive amount of damage to some of these houses out here, disruption of power and communication lines. This is really good, and I like how they detail the breakdown of the effects of this storm system. So please do go check that out, the Indian Meteorological Department and their detailed forecast on the storm system. And back to the Western Pacific, and one reason why we started making these video updates is because some of the agencies out here are lacking that detailed analysis. And as for today, really no tropical systems. Like I said, this area down here towards the south is nothing whatsoever, just a couple clouds now. Cold surge continuing to spill in from the north. That's going to be the big topic this week. as that continues to spill there towards the south. Temperatures are going to be dropping across much of northeastern Asia. Ulaanbaatar's high for today is only minus 16. Just absolutely incredibly cold out here. All that cold air is getting thrusted towards the south along the leading edge of this cold surge, which is following behind a low pressure area which pushed through Japan, bringing some pretty rough weather yesterday. Even some dust coming from the Gobi Desert. It's going to push across portions of eastern China and over towards the southern Japanese islands. So if you have any respiratory issues, just be prepped for as it starts to drift off there towards the east, and basically across portions of western Japan could see a little bit, but the worst of it's going to be reframed down there towards the south. And then as that cold air even pushes farther south, we could be seeing some pretty chilly weather for northern portions of Luzon, but the northeast monsoon is the big topic here for the Philippines. See those rain showers setting up? Well, that's going to be persistent nature of it and some pretty continuous rain showers. We do have something way out here near Micronesia in the long range, but this is not going to approach the Philippines at all. According to the NavGem model, there's just one model picking up on it, and it's only picking up on the genesis state of this. None of the other ones are. And if it does develop, I agree with its forecasted track. It's going to lift towards the north because you have this just massive upper level trough off here, and that's going to be just grabbing it and shooting it off there towards the north. So it could impact Guam and the Mariana Islands, and then it just gets sheared apart by that northeast monsoon with the leading edge of that cold surge. You can see the 540 line here, 564. That is just an absolutely cold, frigid, dry air. If a tropical system develops in the next week, I will be blown away. At least out here near the influence of this. It could develop way, way out here, but once it gets over in this area, nothing will happen. So on that note, with that said, everybody, thanks for watching here at westernpacificweather.com. If you have any questions, comments, or suggestions, you can always post them down in the comment box below. And as always, stay safe out there.